Hi, this is Charles Coachman, and this is Bay Area Let's Talk. Bay Area Let's Talk. Well, it is Monday, March 1st. And just a little validation. Charlie Brown giving us the okay for baseball. So, hope everyone had a great weekend. Looking forward to what we're in store for the rest of the afternoon. One of the things that I like to do to start out each show is giving a quick shout out to our birthday people. Let's see what we've got. Crystal Souza, Keller Williams, Silicon Valley in Campbell. Happy birthday to you. Wishing you just all the best things today, Crystal, on your birthday. And Nikki Reichel with Chicago Title, wishing you a very, very happy birthday. Enjoy your days, and if it's your birthday out there, happy birthday to you. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. Let's check on what else we've got going on today. One of the other things that I like to do is talk about the companies that we use, and it's a Grow Live Academy. A Ken Walls company. I like to make sure that everyone is aware of the Grow Live Academy in case you are interested in learning how to go live. This is one of the fellows and one of the programs. That's one of the best that's going on. So Ken Walls and the growliveacademy.com. Check it out. And then we have StreamYard.com. That is the company that we are using to stream right now. And they have just an excellent program and easy to get online and get going each and every day. And then the last thing that I do is I use Hippo Video to stay in touch with my clients and make sure that I'm always in touch with them using Hippo Video. All right. Again, this is Bay Area Let's Talk. I am Charles Coachman. You can reach me by calling me on my cell phone or texting at 408-439-0766, or you can always send me an email at Bay Area Let's Talk. Bay Area Let's Talk at gmail.com. Bay Area Let's Talk at gmail.com. Or you can find us on Facebook at Bay Area Let's Talk or Charles Coachman, or on our YouTube page under Charles Coachman. And we'll be glad to talk with you. We'd love to talk with people. Hey, Scott. Good afternoon. Hey, we are doing a lot better than we were on Friday and throughout the weekend. I was sick as a dog on Friday, and I just couldn't get back up after. I thought I'd just lay down for a couple hours, and then all of a sudden I said, no, I'm staying in bed. So I stayed in bed all Friday. And then I spent the day in bed, and then tried to climb out of bed. And as I did, I twisted my hip, and oh my goodness. And so I spent 2 days limping around trying to get past that, but feeling so much better today. Feeling so much better. Scott, thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. All right, thank you, Scott. I do appreciate that. Let's see what we've got going on. And today in the news, I just wanted to talk about pretty much some good stuff that we have got going on here in the Bay Area or in our surrounding areas. Well, it looks like California has made a deal with the teachers and possibly the teachers' unions, but I'm finding out it's not as clear and it's not as cohesive as it was reported to be. Apparently, the governor has given or will give $2 billion to the schools that open up by the middle of March. And then he will be taking away, for those that don't start by April 1st, he's going to be taking away 1% of the money that was going to come to the schools that do not open up. So I don't know that there's going to be any satisfaction from anybody. We've seen all sorts of the teachers very unhappy with the deal because the deal does not call for them to either be vaccinated or the children to be vaccinated, which is what they've been calling for from day one. It's calling for all the old schools to be updated. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen in a year. So let's hope that the schools open up. I know that some have said that they are going to, but others are holding out. So we don't know how good a deal this is going to be. But you know what? Teachers, it's time to start thinking about those kids. Every well-known person that's talked about this, as far as clinical psychologists, everyone has said this has been the most difficult thing for young people and students. And it is time to get these people, these young folks back into school. It's well past time. So teachers, do what's right. So apparently they've got a deal or some type of blackmail that's happened that they're going to try and open up a majority of the schools by the end of March. On April 1st, money starts being deducted from schools. So let's see. But there's still $4.6 billion out there that's going to go to the schools regardless. So we got to figure this out, folks. Let's get this done. Governor Newsom is trying to do whatever he can to save his job. Give the man a hand. Okay. Well, coming up on COVID, there's a couple of stories. There's a couple of science camps that have had to close. One located right over in the Oakland and Berkeley Hills called Sarah's Science Camp. It serves students 4 to 14. And they've been in business for like 35 years. And they have finally given up. They are going to go bankrupt. And so they have filed their bankruptcy papers. They're just not going to be able to stay in. They can't stay in any longer. They tried to get set up and do online programs, and they just didn't catch on because people want to have their children get a hands-on experience. And that hands-on doesn't mean with a mouse. It means getting out into the field. They had used a park over in the Oakland Berkeley Hills, like I said. And so just another, victim of this COVID virus. This camp was one that people had been going to for all these years. As a matter of fact, the director of this camp had been named Educator of the Year for what she was teaching children. And now it's been lost, another COVID casualty. Hey, one of the things that I saw and I just thought was one of the most interesting stories, Yosemite. 2 skiers, and I think it was the first time ever, 2 skiers came down Half Dome. Half Dome there's some of the most famous pictures taken of Half Dome, both black and white and in color. It is just a slab of granite, and it has got a side that it just looks like it is straight up and down. But these 2 men, Jason Turlano and Zach, I believe it's Milligan. It took them 5.5 hours to come down the side of Half Dome. And they just said if you went 30 feet to the left or 30 feet to the right, you were going to go off the side of that rock. And they felt like death was going to happen. If you were to go to the left or to the right, 30 feet either way, you were going to be in some trouble and just fall off that side of the mountain. They both said, nah, this was good. We will never do this again, because I am certain that it was terrifying. Both of them were experienced skiers. Both of them were experienced rock climbers, but they just said, you know what, we're going to try this. And what a feat it was. So congratulations, guys. That's one for your bucket list. That's all done. Another story that included Yosemite. A wolf was spotted in Yosemite for the first time in 100 years. Wolves had basically been eliminated from Yosemite and the surrounding areas. But what they found was a wolf that had traveled from Mount Hood in Oregon and had made his way down to various spots in California and tracked his way. It looks like it's been a year process, but he has moved from one area to the next, walking along highways, running across highways, going back and forth throughout the mountainous terrains. And he has made himself from Mount Hood, which is northern Oregon, down into central California. That is quite a jaunt. That's over 600 miles. But he did it. So a wolf has been spotted in East Yosemite for the first time in 100 years. Let's talk about one more little item from our rains in January and in early February. Part of Highway 1 fell off. Part of Highway 1 south of Monterey, north of, north of Morro Bay. And I'm trying to think of and south of Big Sur, but there's a place, and I can't remember what the name of it is. But anyway, Big Sur has been cut off from most people. So it left a 150-foot gorge in Highway 1. Now, Highway 1 is closed down frequently during the winter because of mudslides and stuff. But this is a big deal because this took out 150 feet and it looks like it just slid right off into the ocean. So it's going to take a while to get it rebuilt. And people were, furious that they can't drive down and see the scenic route. But you know what? You just can't do it sometimes. Hey, that's part of the experience of traveling on Highway 1 up and down the coast of California. The place that I was thinking of was Hearst Castle. So between Big Sur and Hearst Castle is where it's closed down. So a lot of people are thrilled. A lot of the people that live in Big Sur love it. They like the fact that they are closed off from people. They say, we've always wanted this quietness, and now they've got it. Now they've got it quiet and all to themselves. They would like to stop the construction and just end it. For the mailman to deliver, he's got to make a 400-mile round trip from the area in Big Sur and circle all the way down and come back up. Then there's only one way to go all the way around and back. So it's about a 400-mile trip that this fellow has to take to deliver mail, and apparently they're doing it twice a week. So this is one of those stories that people in Monterey and the surrounding areas love. Hey, you know what? There will not be as many people coming through their area. their little piece of paradise is going to be theirs alone. And that's how they're living. So to all the people on Highway 1 who are enjoying life because nobody can visit, all the best to you. We hope they get it fixed and you get your visitors back soon enough. We know that it's going to take a year to rebuild that, at least. So you're going to have plenty of time to be alone, and your economy will suffer. But you'll have no traffic. You will have no traffic. Well, now I am going to scoot right on into This Day in Rock, This Day in Music. I'm going to skip the first item because there's some sad stuff going on. So I'm going to save the first item for the last. On this day in 1957, Chuck Berry releases School Days. Chuck Berry released it on Chess Records. It becomes, that's Chess, C-H-E-S-S. It becomes his biggest hit to date, peaking at number 3 on the charts. On the charts in 1966 on this day, The Ballad of the Green Berets hits number 1. Hits number 1. It sold more than 1 million copies within a week of its release. And it was considered the top song of 1966. On this date in 1967, a little group called the Beatles. They were working on a new John Lennon song called Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. They say it has nothing to do with drugs. I'm kind of doubting that. You can count me as one that says, okay, I'll take that with a wink and a nod. But I think Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds definitely has something to do with some drugs. On this day in 1969, Jim Morrison of The Doors. The Doors, my favorite American rock and roll group. He was charged with lewd and lascivious behavior after some say he showed his little Jim to the audience during a show in Miami. He was found guilty and was sentenced to 8 months of hard labor. He died in Paris while the verdict was being appealed. So rest in peace, Jim Morrison. And sorry that event ever happened, because I think it led to a more destructive Jim Morrison. And unfortunately passed away as a very, very young man. This date in 1970, the Ed Sullivan Show airs clips of the Beatles performing Let It Be and Two of Us. It's the last time the band will appear on the show that introduced the Beatles to an American audience. Just 6 years before. 6 years, 1964 to 1970. Incredible. Incredible. And look at all they did in those years. And a goodbye to the Beatles. On this date in 1974, Queen kicks off their first headlining tour. They went a tour of England in Blackpool. Queen, an English rock band. I think we all know that. Brian May is lead guitarist, and the vocalist was the one and only Freddie Mercury. First tour, 1974. Hard to believe it. 47 years ago. 47 years ago. On this date, one of those Beatles in 1975 won Best Pop Vocal for Band on the Run. Olivia Newton-John won Record of the Year for I Honestly Love You. Stevie Wonder won Album of the Year, fulfilling this first finale. One of the biggest songs on that album was Boogie On Reggae Woman. Just one of those songs that I absolutely love. Love everything about it. On this date in 1975, the Eagles went to #1 on the U.S. charts with The Best of My Love. The first of 5 U.S. #1s for the band. The first of 5. And soon thereafter, The Best of the Eagles, or the Eagles' Greatest Hits, went to #1 and is still there. Biggest selling album of all time. Okay. 1980. Now, I got to tell you, I'm a Blondie fan. I've been a Blondie fan since they first came out. But I'm not really so thrilled with this song. Blondie were at #1 for UK singles with the song Atomic. Obviously, it was about the atomic bombs, but they went to #1. I think it was one of their worst hits. Horrible. But I love Debbie Harry. Debbie Harry. Debbie Harry was a friend of mine too. Let's see. On this date in 1986, Mr. went to #1 for a couple weeks with their hit song Kyrie. And they also went to #1 in the UK. Mr. And we still missed her because I don't think they're around anymore. It's been a long time. On this date in 1994, Nirvana played their final concert when they appeared at Terminal 1 in Munich, Germany. The place was filled to their capacity. It was, I believe it was actually an airport hangar. Power went out. So the guys did an impromptu acoustic set, which included Best Friend's Girlfriend by the Cars. But that was their last concert. Another sad story. In 1995, on this date, Bruce Springsteen wins 4 Grammys for Streets of Philadelphia, the Tom Hanks film that went by the name Philadelphia. Sheryl Crow won 3 awards, including Record of the Year, Song of the Year, All I Want to Do, and Best New Artist. But the biggest man of all was Tony Bennett, who won for his album Unplugged. Best traditional pop performance. Tip my hat to you, Mr. Bennett. In 1997, now I'd never heard about this, but Bowie bonds were issued on the U.S. Stock Exchange linked to David Bowie. Bowie bonds were issued on the U.S. Stock Exchange linked to Bowie's back catalog of albums with money earned on the bonds via interest from royalties. Investors could expect an 8% gain over 10 years. The gains weren't that good, but you know what? You had some Bowie bonds. Woohoo! And this is, you know what? We got a couple of sad events, but this one was, I remember just being blown away when I heard about this. In 2003, a casualty of the February 20th Rhode Island nightclub fire set off by rock band Great White's pyrotechnic explosion dies in the hospital, bringing the death toll to 98. 98 people were going to a concert, going to have a blast, have some beers, enjoy themselves, and ended up dying in a horrible, horrible disaster. So the actual fire was February 20th, 2003. The final person dies on this date in 2003. 98 people, rest in peace. What a horrible day. What a horrible day in rock and roll. In 2005 on this date, Chris Curtis, drummer for the Searchers, dies at the age 63 after a long illness. Now, if you don't remember the Searchers, they had a hit song called Needles and Pens, and then their biggest single was Love Potion. Well, actually, Needles and Pens was their biggest hit, but the one that everyone remembers is Love Potion number 9. Love Potion number 9. And then in 2006, Jackson 5's drummer, Johnny Jackson, is found stabbed to death in his Gary, Indiana home. That's a sad one. He was a cousin of the Jacksons, and he was part of their live touring group. And that's just sad as it can be. So I wanted to finish off with a good story. And so the good story is, on this date in 1944, one of the best lead singers of all time was born. And that's the Who's Roger Daltrey, born on this date in 1944 in Hammersmith, England. What a career this man has had. Just think of all the hit songs that they've had. Certainly, he owes a lot of debt to Pete Townsend, but he had the vocal cords. He had the voice that could blow up those songs. And what a career. So that is This Day in Rock. Thank you for looking in, checking in, paying attention. I really appreciate it. And that is it for this day. I am going to be doing the show on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I've just decided that 5 days a week is a little bit too much of me, too much on my voice, but I enjoy it. So we're going to do it Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and I appreciate you being here. Scott, I really appreciate you being here. Thanks so much. Have a great evening. God bless. Take care. Rock and roll, and let's do Bay Area. Let's talk. Bye.